Appreciate you guys coming on.
I'm so nervous.
A little bit.
There's no reason to be nervous. It's literally just a conversation, like when we were talking, when you were doing my pictures. Like, it's just
We could talk forever.
a conversation.
Like, every time he comes in, we talk literally forever.
Yeah, it's just a conversation. That's, who did friend of mine, I graduated high school, is coming on in 2 weeks. And she was like, I don't know, I don't do good in front of a camera. And I was laughing because she always puts up, she's a realtor, she started a new business now, and she's always putting up photos. I'm like, you look like you're in front of a camera a lot. Like, I think people just, it's funny, one of the ladies in Troy told me no when she first started her business, and I painted for her and I've talked to her. Well, they make all her content. And I'm like, so, because they were teasing me, they're like, why isn't she come on the podcast? You're a client, she's a client, you two know each other, you've painted her house, her business. I'm like, talk to her. Yeah. So she, the other day, she's like, all right, I think they've got her comfortable enough now. I think they're going to come on August. She wanted to come on and kind of plan it out right around their grand opening. They're doing a bunch of stuff. And I was like, oh, I got to take these off. I was like, that's fine. I just laugh. Some people make it into like way more. It's just fun.
It is
Our
way more.
same
Like
with our business.
You get in front of the camera and with me. So I'll give you an example. Like, everybody that I work with struggles. They freak out. They come outside of the dressing room. They look in the mirror and they're like, oh my God, I hate it. Like, the anxiety level is like, and I am the same way. So I understand it. Like, ask her, like, her doing my photos. She's like, you're going to hate this. You're going to hate this. Do this. Like, move here, do this. You're going to hate this.
Yeah.
So it's intimidating for sure.
Well, but that's just part of anything new or anything people haven't done. And I think with like the podcast stuff too, or even like with the Boudoir, they're opening themselves up on a physical level to be judged, which we're all nervous about. Nobody wants that. But I think with like the podcast too, is people think of like, it's way up here for some people. It's like a pedestal thing, like going live on the news or like going on Johnny Carson or something. And it's like,
That's
it's just
literally
really
what
much.
about
It's much
last
more
night,
intimate than that. You're just having a conversation. Whenever I message people that I don't know, because there'll be people on like my social media or ladies that I'll notice and put up a lot of content that's professional. I'll be like, okay, this should be a professional person to talk with. I'll message them and be like, and I hashtag it with, not in my mom's basement, because I've had people reach out to me and they're like, it's kind of a little weird setup, and it's fine, but I've been on so many of them now as a guest. I've had so many that never were published. And I was like, man, I took off to be there. Like, why didn't you do it? And it was just because maybe they had faulty audio or something stupid probably happened. I mean, we had a batch get lost once. Like, there was a hard drive that melted down. There's nothing you can do about it.
Yeah.
That's one of the things, like what you guys do.
Well,
You're saving so much
it's
stuff.
Like backup.
Well, and that's now there is backup.
But until you learn.
Yep.
Yep.
And that's what
it always takes that one incident where you're like, oh.
That changes how you do everything.
Yeah. So how long have you been doing Boudoir now?
I've been a photographer since 2013 officially. I did things a little bit different. I love photography, but I taught myself. So I did like a photography 101 class. I learned about ISO. I learned about how the camera worked. And literally my first session was on manual. It was everything that I had learned, and I nailed it. Like,
nice.
People always say, like, compare yourself from like then versus now. Like, I nailed it the first time. Yeah. So it's weird. Like, I'm a control freak. Like, I'm a perfectionist. I look at things like, if I'm going to do this, I'm 100%.
And you wouldn't have started if she didn't feel that way, where a lot of, like me, I jumped into it a little bit more than you did, where she wanted to be the best before she started.
Oh, yeah.
She thinks everyone is gorgeous.
Yeah.
And that's totally why I love her so much. And I am very critical. I'm a perfectionist. So we mesh really well together. The first Boudoir session I did was 2015, I think. It was a friend, and she was like, can you do a Boudoir for Valentine's Day? And I was like, I can try.
Yeah.
I knew photography. I knew lighting and stuff. But it was so different than anything that I'd ever done. I tell this story a lot, actually, because she was this woman I look at, and I was like, I'd kill to look like her. Like, she has the perfect body. This is going to be amazing. And I was kind of excited about the shoot until I said, is there anything I should be aware of? Like, is there anything that you are self-conscious about? Like, where do your eyes go?
Yep.
And she was like, just don't get my belly fat. And I'm like, whatever. But then I saw it in her eyes. She was very serious. And it was immediately intimidating for me. It was immediately like, whoa, she thinks she's fat. And it was almost like therapy to me, because I hate all of this stuff about myself, but I thought I was the only one. I looked at her and I'm like, wish I could look like her. She must be the most confident woman in the world. When in reality, she wasn't. And it made me
just
sad.
The same, yeah.
So one of her friends came to me after her session and wanted the same thing. Same thing. I would kill to look like her. Mm-hmm. She hated so many things about herself, which at that point I was like, you know what, if I'm going to do this, I'm going to do it right, just like I've done everything else. So I set up what do you call it even? I went to a retreat kind of thing with, you probably have heard of him, Matt Matthews. So he started off as a boudoir photographer. Hilarious. He's doing like chicken comedy now. Like he tours and stuff. Like he's hilarious.
That's a pivot.
Yes.
Yeah.
But
he still does
fits.
both. He still runs. Yeah, it does. I looked at his work like he's amazing. So I want to learn how he's doing this. Plus, I feel like these sessions will make or break you and your confidence. So if I was going to do this, I wanted to give it my all. Mm-hmm. So I went to a weekend in Dallas and learned a lot, came back, and I fell in love with it. It's so hard to explain. I think photographers, like, they want the emotion of it. That's why she deals with family. She loves the family. She loves the kids. Mm-hmm. Like, she can deal with kids like nobody I've ever known. I can't stand them. Mm-hmm. I can't stand husbands. Just being honest, they're so negative. It just, I don't love it.
It's almost draining from their excitement.
Yeah. And dads just don't want to be there. They're just like, ugh, most dads.
Most, yeah.
So you did the same thing during your family session.
Oh yeah, I didn't want to be there for
like,
that.
Why are we here? Like, get this over with. Like,
we haven't changed that much. It's fine. Yeah.
I don't know. That's about it.
Well, and then when you and I met, now that's been what? So I was at Forest L School. 14
Yeah, that's
years?
what I was guessing. Yeah, I was trying to think on the way here about when it would have been.
I was trying to remember how old some of the kids were then, because I think we had the second wall up at the school. So yeah, I think it's been 14 years. You came out, photographed, because I was trying to remember. I knew you photographed Crystal and Chris, and they're both married and adults now, and they were little kids back then. So yeah. That's I was thinking 14 years. So then when did you shift into boudoir? Because I remember like actually seeing some of your stuff at one point, and I hadn't put two and two together. Yeah. Because I seen the work, and then it clicked, and I was like, oh wow. So like, when did you shift?
So I am a little bit different than Amanda, like we said. So I was self-taught as well, but like it was like pick up a camera and figure it out myself. I did go to college for it, but at that point I already had my business and it was learning more the editing side. So I did it a little bit in the beginning and I really liked it, but I didn't carry that market on. And then I actually booked Amanda for my wedding and we just hit it off right away. And I think our second meeting about the wedding, she's like, hey, I've got a session for a senior. You want to just tag along? And so I'm like, okay, so see how somebody else does it. Why not? And so just started tagging along with her and really seeing the way that family sessions work. Like they're excited after and they get the pictures back, and sometimes you hear back and sometimes you don't. And they either love them or hate them, and sometimes you never know. But with this, it was such a different, like the clients are so grateful and the confidence changed. So as soon as I started tagging along with sessions with her, I was like, okay, someday I'm going to be in shooting with her. And it took five years of coming and doing sessions. And finally I was like, no, like I'm really serious. Like I'll do whatever training, however you want to do it, I'm on board.
I'm very protective of my clients. I'm very protective of them because my typical client, like my perfect client, married 10 years, she's had children, her body's changed, she's struggling to know who she is.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
She's struggling to figure out, to
feel
love
like
her body
again.
currently. When I feel like we're always comparing ourselves to like how we were
Oh,
even
for
sitting
sure.
here talking to you, like, I feel like I'm 28. I feel like I'm,
Yeah.
a size 5 still, but that comparison is really hard. And so I'm very protective of them, even posting things online, even when they give, like, they
Even
have
if they
to
give
give
you,
permission.
even
But
when they're
even
like,
when
no,
that
go ahead,
yeah,
go ahead.
no.
Yeah, you're still.
When that happens, I eagle eye those comments. I wish somebody would. You know
I'm
what
that
I
way
mean?
with
Like,
the Taekwondo school. If there's a single, I had a nasty comment. I realized an ad I had running yesterday. I forgot to click off the little optimize thing. So they were sending it to India or wherever, which always kills me because I only run stuff locally.
Yeah.
But I had somebody comment in like foreign letters, and then somebody put something snotty under it. And I immediately just went in, deleted their comments, and then turned the ad off. I was mad because I'm
Yeah.
very particular when actually people being negative actually helps it get more views.
Yep.
And I know how that
It
all
does, but it
works,
doesn't
but
matter.
well,
we actually had this happen when we went viral on TikTok. So
that was the rain sessions,
yeah,
right?
we did the
Yep.
rain session.
Those blew up.
They did, and we still love doing them. But it's just kind of like that is a little portion, and that's why she's so good at the minis, because minis are typically for people who are already confident. They already know they look good. They're not struggling with anything. They let them do a mini. I want to handle the people that are not confident, and those typically cannot be done in a mini session. Like, I can't get to know
It
you.
needs to be a full experience
really
to
does.
really get it.
When that went viral, I forgot what I tried to do. I Googled it. I figured out how to duet. I figured out a bunch of stuff because I had a really funny idea to duet that, and you had everything turned off so nobody could do nothing on it. I was pissed.
Really?
Not
I
because
didn't
it
even
went
know
viral.
that.
Oh, yeah, you couldn't.
Totally didn't even know that.
Yeah, you couldn't duet it or something like that. I think it was a duet. I did. I had something really funny in Casey.
We're not the technology
No.
smartest people.
Well, I'm not either. It took me forever to figure out how to even do it because I hadn't done it. And I never put up content like that. I just put up stuff for the dojo. But I had a funny idea, and I don't remember what my idea was. Casey was like, oh, she's going to kill you. And then you had something with Sweet, wouldn't let me do it. And I was like, dang.
That's so funny. You should have called me.
Yeah, because those went wild. It was one of
did.
you. It was your one. I think it was you doing
Probably
it.
you dancing.
Oh God.
Yeah, it was
See, that
something
the
like
thing,
that. Yeah.
This particular client was the bigger girl, and she's still confident. She still has that confidence, which was amazing. So when working with her, I was ready for the comments. Like people are mean online.
Even for us, like our funny videos
Yeah.
with it, people are
they're
very
mean.
brutal.
But I was so surprised at this particular session. 98% of the comments were amazing.
Yeah.
Wow.
Because it was people that could resonate. It was people
Yes.
that, like, you have my body type and I haven't seen this. That's huge because she loved herself the way she was right then and there. Does she have goals? Does she want to work? I don't know. But wherever you are in that moment, there were so many people that resonated with. And I think that's why it blew up the way that it did. Looking back, there was a couple of hidden comments that were automatically hidden that I didn't see. But it's just the typical, like, keyboard
whatever.
warrior,
Yeah.
But in one of the videos that I did, I was flat out called a whale. Like, they put a whale emoji.
But you've seen all the stuff now, but like 90% of the internet's freaking dead. Have you guys seen all that where they're saying
No.
most of it's all bots at this point?
Oh, for sure.
Oh yeah, it's called Rogan just talked about the dead internet theory or something like that, and it was breaking down the fact that there's so much stuff that's
AI.
just bots, it's just fake accounts, that it's all just that most of it's crap. Like you can't even pay attention to any of that anymore.
No.
Well, I know it was funny because what it's been 10 years since you photographed Casey
Yeah.
first, right? That was wild. I told Kay I was standing with her last night, and I was like, 10 years? She's like, no. So I still laugh about that because like I got her to do the shoot. I don't remember the whole
No,
scenario
you didn't
around
want her
it.
to do the shoot. Initially, she approached you like, I want to do this. And you're like, absolutely not. No way. And she was like, why? And you told me.
Yeah,
that
let's say I don't
you-
remember all that, or I don't remember what started
Red
it.
blackened.
This is
Because
one
I've
of
always
my
been such a fan
stories.
of it, but I don't remember what the whole.
I
I
was
don't
gonna
remember
say,
what
You,
I think.
I
you
even
came,
interviewed you about it.
Because this is one of the stories
Yeah,
we do tell.
I love
yeah.
this story because you were adamantly against it. Not
Oh yeah, me and
not
your
for
husband
her.
both did interviews.
Yeah, not for her, but you didn't want her online because you were being protective of her, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
So I had to tell you, like, nothing goes online without
Yeah.
their permission, and you didn't believe me. So you knew that I had shot somebody else that had, I guess, just talked to you about it. You searched online to
Yeah.
try to find her images, and you
Oh, I
couldn't
probably
find them.
did. Yeah.
So you were like, okay, all right, let's do this. And so that's how it all happened. I think a lot of people think that they immediately go online, because a lot of photographers just do.
Yeah.
I am very careful. Like, even my original contract does not have a model release in it, and that's intentional because I don't want the pressure there.
Yeah.
If you see your images, if you're comfortable, if you want to share it, perfect. But 9 times out of 10, it's not meant for the world. It's not meant for the internet.
And I remember that was my thing, is I wanted to be, if she was going to do it, I wanted to be something for her and I.
Yep.
You know, because she wanted to do it as like a gift to me. I just remember when we went out there, Casey's a cheap ass. She knows it. I can say it that way. She is so, she sat at the shop one time for like 5 hours because if she submitted payroll, but after a certain time, we'd get like a fine. It was like $17. But she sat there for like 5 hours to do it. I'm like, do you realize you're worth way more than $17 an hour?
Yeah.
Like, seriously. So I got her hammered. I kept pouring wine. This is when we drank. I had her silly leaving there because I seen the price stuff, and I was like, she's gonna flip out. She's not gonna let me buy anything.
Yep.
Because she was already like when you look back at it, she realizes how nice it looked. But she's like any of you guys, so scrutinizing of herself, and I'm the same way with myself. I scrutinized. I was angry about the T-shirt that I had that was spray painted. There's a couple spots where it's folded, where it's like, I do not have a belly that big. I would, but I'm crucial, so I get it. I get where ladies are coming from. But I had her just trashed, and on the way home, she was like, "Let me see the pricing," and I was like, and now. It like she sees it differently, but that initial sticker shock, I was sort of like dying because I think I actually tucked the thing next to me so she couldn't get it because you had like this real nice pamphlet, and I did. I had her. She drank the whole bottle. I mean, she had a headache the next day because I was just trying to get her to enjoy, like, not the photographs, but when we sat down to go through them, because she was so nervous, and then
which makes sense because a lot of women only do this with the intent of giving it as a gift to their spouse.
Yes.
When in reality, I think that they get way more out of this.
Yeah.
Yep.
This whole experience.
And after.
But I think the only thing that you guys get is to see your spouse with more confidence, and that is priceless. So.
Well, that's why I said when I did the interview with you that that would blew me away because she's done 4 or 5 shoots since then. And it was the confidence boost.
Yeah.
It was the confidence boost that she got from it. Like, I enjoyed it. I liked having the pictures. I liked that. But the boost and the way it made her feel. Mm-hmm. And the fact that you even said, like, I don't want to work with a 20-year-old with fake breasts that is fit as a fiddle. Like, I want to help moms feel sexy.
Yes.
And it worked. She did great with it. And it was such a bonus that I've always been a big fan of it. Since then, I was nervous at the first one because we were established in the businesses, we were local, and I was like, I don't need that type of small town drama, that type of BS.
Happens.
It does.
Because they just don't understand. Like, my husband, a perfect example of this is
my own mother had my ass about it.
Yeah, when
about
I first
us
started
making
doing
horrible
this,
choices doing that.
My father-in-law made a comment about, like, why does she take such lewd photos? And it was so hurtful initially. And that's about the time that I had to explain to my husband. My kids know. I have 2 teenage boys. Well, they're not teenagers anymore.
They're
grown.
Now.
But during their teenage years, like, I had to explain to them that this is not sexual. This is not something that I'm objectifying.
It's sensual. You're not shooting porn. And that's what's amazing with what you do is you'll see different people do things, and it's got to be a fine line to walk of, is this vulgar or is this something that is going to be sensual? Like, is this going to be something that if your child as they grow up were to see it, they're like, oh, my mother looks very pretty. It's not something that's like, oh, that's trashy. Like, you know what I mean? And that's got to be such a hard
That was
line.
one of the reasons I got into it, because at the time in 2013, 2015, at the time there was all male boudoir photographers, which they were amazing, but I think their approach was more like pearls hanging out of your mouth, and they were wanting to photograph
the male fantasy.
The women how they wanted to see them.
Yep.
And I think that not all men, and I don't want to just make a blank statement, but it's easy to do that, because for me, when I'm photographing a woman, the first thing I ask her is, what do you love about yourself? Where do your eyes go as soon as you see a photo? Because 9 times out of 10, we see ourselves standing up straight in front of a mirror, And if you have lingerie on standing straight in front of a mirror, it is not cute. I don't care what you look like.
And no matter what
but
size
that's
you
the
are.
problem.
Yeah.
Everybody sees all the stuff online.
Yes.
And they
compare
don't
themselves.
realize too that like a lot of those models are coming off of a 72-hour fast, or they're water depleted to get their abs to pop,
Photoshopped,
or well, yeah, that's what's so great about like the Goob. He goes around and calls all that crap out on social media, but
It's
there's
important to know that.
so much. Even my shoot with you, I had people message me. They're like, "Oh, I did headshots too. It was AI." I was like, "The fuck out of here! It was AI. That's not real." Like,
Yeah.
cool, congrats. I'm happy. I'm not mad at them,
Yeah,
but
glad it worked
that's not
for
the same
you, but
thing.
yeah.
Like I'm in that photo. Like that's actually me. Like there's no catfishing here.
Yep.
But that's what you guys both are good at is catching the sensual side without it being trashy, and building that confidence and making that mom that doesn't have the perfect attributes feel.
I've had
good.
so many women say like, "Oh, thanks for making me skinny," and I'm like, "I did not." You know that.
Yeah, they want to
When-
pawn it off. Yeah, it's
and
something
perfect
else.
And
lighting and
when
yeah.
they're giving it to their spouse, like let's just say they would do it for a gift for their spouse. They give the photos to their spouse. Again, 9 times out of 10, that husband will go, "This is how I always see you. Like this,
Yes.
you are beautiful. This is how I always see you." But we as women don't get to see ourselves in those positions. So a lot of times I try to shoot from their partner's perspective to see what their partner's seeing. And when I show them that, when I explain that to them, like, this pose, nailed it, go home and do this pose. He sees you like that all the time. Like, this is no surprise to him. This is a surprise to you. Because we see ourselves standing up in the mirror. We get selfies by people that don't know what they're doing, and we're standing there in front of a camera, frozen, you know. So we don't get to see ourselves in a flattering way. It's not documented ever. Like, you guys suck at taking pictures of your spouses and your kids anyway. You know, and 9 times out of 10 when you do, it's like you got a double chin, their angles are wrong, you know. So that's the way we see ourselves. Like that's the I'm not sure what word I'm trying to put on it, but that's what we. Oh my gosh, what
If
what am I
that's
trying
your
to say?
self-image in your head,
Yes.
you're gonna make that. Like Casey, I'll be like,
That's
I'll
our
put this
worth.
outfit on,
Yeah.
and I'll be like, you never stand like that. Like you're purposely, but look at me, I look like an ogre or something. I'm like, yeah, you're literally hunched over right now. That's not how you stand. But she'll do it to like make it like to
Make
help
what we think real.
reality.
Yeah.
Yes. It's like, but you don't stand like that, or I don't see you like that. So that's what it is. Like you said, that's what's great with the photos is they then go, oh, well, damn, that's not bad.
Yeah, it's usually like, shit, that's me.
Oh, they're
Okay.
usually very shocked.
Yeah.
It's interesting because there's definitely a trend that I see with all my clients. The men love booty shots. They love when their spouse is looking at the camera, like making eye contact, and because again, that's what you're used to.
Yeah.
Women hate those shots initially, and I have this conversation with all of them. Initially, you're gonna be like, ugh, and swipe. But give it a chance. Like that, you're just not used to seeing yourself like
Yeah.
that. Just kind of go back and give it a chance.
Well, and even when we look in the mirror, we don't usually like look into our own eyes. So I think that's when you look at that picture,
Yeah.
you're like, oh my gosh, I'm staring at myself, and
Yeah.
that's uncomfortable.
It's very, and people are scared about their kids seeing their pictures and everything else. I think that the story I like to tell about that was one client came in and she was like, I go, how did you find me? Like, what made you want to do a boudoir shoot? She goes, I found my great grandmother's naked photo from the war. She sent my grandpa. I'm like, what?
That's awesome. Go grandma.
And she was like, I opened it and my first instinct is like, what a badass. And I'm like, that's what I want. You know,
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
want to document a woman where her grandchildren find them later. It's not going to be gaudy.
That's what I was saying. Like it's something.
Yeah, it's not
that
like,
they,
oh my God, Grandma, what
Yeah.
did you do?
Yeah.
No, it's not
It's
like
like,
you
what a
stumbled across her
badass.
OnlyFans.
Yeah.
Like, and that's the thing I think though with a lot of guys too. Like we talked about this when I did my interview with you. Like I was insecure or nervous about it in the beginning because building businesses, I work with kids. I was like, man, I don't need this getting out there with her,
Yeah.
or it getting found and people sending it around going, oh, look at this, you
Yeah,
know,
look
like
what she
guys do,
did.
like
Yeah.
guys
Yeah.
do.
Yep.
And but then seeing the confidence boost it made in her and the positivity with it, then her and I did the co-shoot together with her. Like I think they're great, and they're a way to save those memories and to share them and
To
like
document like your like you two embracing each other. Like that is so rare.
Yeah.
Unless it's done in a gaudy fashion, I feel like, nobody's
Even
doing
couples
that anymore.
photos, it's not like I would say like a regular couple session. You'll have each other looking at each other and hugging, but it's not the same level.
No.
It's not the same. It's not that intimacy there.
Yeah.
And it's something that, most, you always see the reels. Hey, it's Tuesday, cinema booty pic or something. You always see it, but that's most women, if they're, the majority of them are going to be so insecure about stuff like that. Whereas now I'm not talking about like a 20-year-old. I'm talking about like adults. This is something they can share with their spouse. It's on another level. It's on another level of intimacy. It's a sensual gift between the two of them. Like the album you made, the beautiful album for us of I think I got 2 or 3 of them.
Yeah.
And I love it because it's like something really nice. It's classy. It's one of those things that it's not trashy, and it's something where with this new trend on you think mom's been in the house too much with the kids,
Yes.
and then they stomp. Yeah,
still
I love
got
that.
it.
I think that's great because
Yeah.
they need that. You see so many people, and men too, that just give up at
Men
a
are
certain
just
age.
as hard on themselves.
Dude, I got so many dudes
if
coming
not
out in
worse.
baggy hoodies and their pajama pants all the time at the dojo, and it's like, man, just clean up a little bit, get some testosterone.
That's so hard to
changing,
do when you're struggling with confidence. Like
No, for sure.
even
it
myself,
is.
like I still look, I do this for a living, and I still struggle with my confidence just as
Yeah, I
much
can't
as every
imagine
one
how
of my
much
clients.
talking her into stuff you have to do when I see her post pictures of herself. I'm
think
like,
social
Becca
media
worked
was
hard
the
on that.
hardest.
It was the hardest because
Yeah.
I have this fear of being disingenuous. I want to be my true self. I want to connect with these people. But I'm not a salesperson. I just suck at sales. Like that's the business part that I struggle with because
You don't. You just tell yourself you do because you actually say the right things. You just tell yourself you're not good at it because
well,
the
people
fact
will be
that
like, "Oh, do a mass video and explain how easy this really is." After their session, they're like, "Oh my god, I was so scared. This was so much easier. It's so much fun. You should do a video." Well, how do I do that when everybody is so different?
Everybody's different. And even if they see that, they're still going to, in their
Not trust
own
it.
mind, be like, oh, it's easy for them.
Right.
When
Yep.
our sessions, while we have the same, like we come in and we have this spiel to get you ready, and then we have the same poses, it's so customized beyond that.
Yeah.
Where it might be that pose, but we make it fit them so much, and until you're in and see that, you don't
And the
get
reason
it.
I love working with moms is because I'm a mom. I have
Yes.
stretch marks. I have the fupa. Those are things that my eyes go to when I see a photo of myself. I'm like, ugh. I weigh less now than I did last year by like 40 pounds. But
Yes.
I still struggle.
Yeah.
I still it takes the scale sometimes for me to go, okay, I need to chill.
Yeah.
This ain't so bad.
Yeah.
But I'm still hard on myself. Like getting dressed, or seeing a girl in a crop and she keeps losing weight at the same time, which sucks because I'm trying to catch up with her. Yeah, it's just, I don't know. I think you're always going to battle confidence issues, even men.
Yeah.
My husband in particular. Like there's another story I like to tell. My husband's 14 years older than me, and he struggles. I know this now, but early on in our relationship, he struggles knowing that he's 14 years older than me and knowing that he's getting older. So his age is something that he battles with. With me, it's my weight. I am like a roller coaster, up and down, depending on the mood I'm in, I guess, because I get in funks where I just don't care.
Whatever life situation's thrown at you. Yeah.
So initially, he's obsessed. He's my biggest fan. He's obsessed with me. I'm never worried about that man cheating on me. But he used to come up and touch my butt while I was doing dishes, or just you're beautiful and all of those things, and it stopped. And I was like, wow, this is so weird. It's because I'm gaining weight. He's not attracted to me anymore. So I let it go for a little bit until I was like, something's wrong here. Like, how did this happen? How did we get here? Just during a normal conversation one night. And he goes, well, I thought you weren't attracted to me anymore because I'm getting older. And I go, why would you think that? And he's like, because every time I would try to touch you or snuggle you at night, put my arm around you, you're like, ugh, get off.
Mm-hmm.
But what he didn't realize was it was his hand touching my fat roll, and I
it
felt
had nothing to do
uncomfortable.
with him.
So nothing, and that's.
I think a lot of couples can resonate with that.
Yeah.
But I think this session opened you up to have those conversations.
Yeah.
I don't think you talk about that kind of stuff on a regular basis, you just assume. You make assumptions based on how you're feeling, what you're going through. But it just opens up that conversation. And that's why I'm like, I love what this does for relationships. Majority of my clients are Christians.
Yeah.
I had one client like, oh, I'm a youth pastor when I had them in a post. We were laughing about it. But I think it's so amazing for like just those conversations, especially if they're private. It's for you and your husband. I don't know. It's crazy.
Yeah.
It's neat what it does, though. It's neat what it does and how it is something like that. And I think there's still a funk around the whole industry of, oh, that's horrible, or it's you know.
Let me tell you about social media, okay? let me just tell you. Like, I think my last TikTok is like, stop deleting my content, because I am very careful. Like, none of my stuff they're covered. Okay.
I would say, and we're extra careful when we know we're posting it for content.
Extra
like,
careful.
This is going to cover way more than a swimsuit ever would.
Yeah.
But it doesn't matter. Like,
they'll still pull it.
Yeah.
Really?
The word boudoir cannot be used, which is interesting because that's why my business is Amanda Renee Raw. Raw is a camera setting, manual camera setting, just so you know. Like, we turn our RAWs into JPEGs. Most photographers would know that. But it also is kind of like a raw, emotionally, physically, like you're kind of getting raw and we're getting real and we're going to talk and, you know. So it just fit. But the word boudoir,
flagged automatically.
Immediately.
Really? With all the trash that you could put up, all the
yeah.
breastfeeding videos and all that crap that can just pop
breastfeeding
up.
videos aren't bad. I've seen
No, the
content.
fake ones with the fake babies.
Or they're
Oh,
selling. I don't know.
You haven't seen all that where they
That's not my
Rogan just
algorithm, Matt.
No, they've got like a fake. It's like a rubber doll. It's just an excuse to show their
Stop
top.
it.
Oh yeah, it's a big thing. It was all over. That was their way around it. Was claiming to be a breastfeeding and all the models and everything.
Apparently
It was
need a
all the
fake
algorithm.
baby.
It went as far up. Rogan talked about on his podcast was like, this is just getting weird. People on their plastic
weird.
babies. Yeah. Or
Well, I mean, in sex cells, I get it. I get that they're, you know, and I don't judge anybody for doing whatever they're doing. But it's frustrating when all I'm trying to do is help a woman's confidence so that she can carry that on in her relationship, in her life. And it's not just that one day session. The hardest part about my business is 90% of those clients, my real clients, they don't want to share. And I don't force them. I don't.
And we 100% get it. It's just hard to get your business out there.
So,
so
the people
With it,
that I get to work with, they're confident already.
Yeah.
You know, 9 times out of 10, the people that I get to model for me, it's because I need content. I can't post anything.
Yeah.
So that's really hard because that also makes the average viewer look at what I'm posting and they're like, oh, I could never. You know what I mean? I couldn't do that.
No, and I agree, and that's something that's hard. I'm lucky with when I do. A lot of my friends go into schools and do a lot of the same stuff I do, but they can't post anything. Schools make them sign stuff, different things. Whereas Lincoln County is like, no, the kids all go to your dojo. Go ahead. I get to do a lot more than a lot of people do.
Yeah.
But no, you're right. It does make it hard when people don't, because then, and you and I have had this talk a million times. I'm like, what can you do? What can you post? What can you put out there? You know, because you don't want to just post that. I love the stuff, the behind the scenes stuff, or the two you do with things. I actually think that stuff's great. But what
that's really us too, by the way. Like, that's how we interact.
No, and that's what's great about it. It's super organic. But even, you know, getting that out there, but you guys do so much with women and helping them. And I think if their husbands were more confident, that's why I tag you in the stuff. You've done the headshots for me a couple times, and I get people. I had a lady the other day at the school mention my Impala, and I was like, oh yeah, basically my pictures were getting sent around the office by a parent is what it was. And I was giggling. I was like, yeah, come on out, look at the car. You know, I just had to chuckle because I picked up on the in between the lines of they were like, hey, check out Matt, some karate. So, I got to giggle. But I think if more dudes would step out and do those type of things and do, you know, everybody does their headshot, their blue tie, their whatever, you know, mom put it on them from JCPenney's, their wife snapped their tie shut for them. Dude, my life had nothing to do with that photo shoot. That was all us. I'm like, I want some badass photos. I need some stuff.
But even from your first session to your second session, I've only did 2 branding sessions with you. The first one, I was scared to death because I don't pose men.
Well, I was nervous too. I know.
I know you worry about your self-confidence just because the couple session we did, you're like, oh, I got to cut weight.
Yeah.
Like, what? Wait a minute. What's happening? That you were kind of my first eye-opening experience to like men give a shit too.
Yeah.
Like, they
Yeah.
care, about the perception, about how they're, just like.
Well,
we were
I've looked
talking
at some
about
of them and I'm
your-
like, damn, I wish my arms
your
would have been bigger
tummy.
than that. I should have pumped up. I should have done something, lifted weights more,
I
whatever.
think it's just natural. I think that it doesn't matter male, female. I think that that's just what we all do. Like we want to find our eyes. When you are showing a picture of yourself, your eyes are going somewhere. And the first thing you do is critique yourself.
Yep.
I think the biggest thing that has helped me, boudoir set aside, I think the biggest thing that helped me was I heard of a swimsuit challenge. Like, just put the swimsuit on. Nobody's looking at you. Nobody's judging you.
Yeah.
And I was probably 40 years old the first time I wore a swimsuit in front of my kids and my husband. I'm talking about at home.
Yeah.
I would always have a t-shirt on. And maybe it's my generation too, because we were, I was always told to like cover up when you were little.
Yeah.
I think that's girls in general too.
But it's easier to just throw on a swimsuit and not have to worry about your belly hanging out. You know what I mean? So this challenge was like, just put on the swimsuit. And I put on that swimsuit and I walked out of my house onto my back deck with just that swimsuit. I don't think people around me realized how much pressure that was for me, but just
in your own home.
In my own home, just sitting on that back deck and watching my kids and my grandkids, like everybody just have a great time in the pool and just barbecuing. It took a minute, but then I remember mentally just sitting there looking around, smiling and going, they don't care.
Like, gives a shit what I look like. Yeah.
Worried about what my appearance is, but they just love me for me. That's my husband. Like, my husband wouldn't care if I gained 50 pounds. Like, he loves me.
Yeah.
And that is something that women, because of the comparisons online, in magazines, on TV, we struggle with always comparing ourselves and like, when I get to this point, I'll wear the swimsuit. But you're always moving that goalpost.
Yep.
So that's something that.
So you never let yourself reach that milestone.
Always.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter.
Well, it's in general, and I think it's all the way across the board. When I congratulate kids at the school when they do something big, they get up in front of their peers and do something. I'm like, do you realize? And I'll call the parents out. I'm like, do you realize your parents would throw up if I told them to do that right now? And the parents are always like, whoa.
Yeah.
Wait, you want one?
I'm like, hold on. Your kids get up in front of 1,000 people and compete and do these things, and it's great. But if the parent had to do it, they would freak out. It's one of the reasons I still compete, to show them that everybody can do this. Like, and I think as humans, we're always going to have a cop out. Oh, well, I teach been martial arts his whole life, or oh, this person's done this, or oh, that person's done. But in general, it's just putting yourself out there. I think there is a real confidence issue that people are struggling with, because we're all, even if we look back at social media and how long it's been around, I think we're all constantly judging ourselves from it. You see how much content I put up. I just throw everything out there, and I'll still go to people's pages like, damn, I should do my videos like that, or I should do this, or I should adjust that, or I'm still super critical of all of it, or I don't like the way this was phrased. Or one of the things that held me back from posting for years is my grammar and my spelling is so terrible. Thank God for ChatGPT, because I write all my own posts and it cleans it up, and that's been one of the big things.
She laughs at me all the time because I am like ChatGPT.
Yeah.
I'm a fan. Okay.
Me too.
Because I know what I want, but I can't process it the way that I will give it a prompt like, hey, look, I want to really like be genuine in what I'm saying, but this is kind of the message I want to get out, and I can use bad grammar and I can just type away what I'm trying to get out.
Was it stream of conscious, right?
Yeah.
I'll write all my stuff, and all I ask it to do is just clean it up for me.
Yep.
Now I had to send an email to someone once. I was like, please change my tone, because I was angry at the person and I wanted it to sound nice, and it did it, which is great, because I was struggling with every time I get to typing, I would get more pissed.
Yeah.
But there is a confidence thing there, and I think it's with men and women. I'll watch parents come in the school, and mom will be all gung ho about classes. Dad will be, oh man, my kid needs a UFC fighter. He's 3, bro. He's 3.
He's 3.
Yeah.
Like fucking 3. Like, come on, knock it off. Like, there's a struggle there, but you'll have a parent come in and they'll tell me how their kid needs confidence and all this stuff, with the kid standing there basically kind of degrading
right
kids.
in
Like,
front,
I see right where it's coming from, but then the more you talk to the parent, you'll be like, well, let's do some tournaments. It'll be great for him. The parent will have every excuse. Like, it's just a confidence issue. We're still so young into the social media world that we are bombarded with everything all the time. Like, every dude, every 40-year-old guy Instagram or I don't have or I'm not on TikTok ever. I have one, but every Instagram account, like some dude at 40, like they're shredded head to toe. I guarantee 90% of them, if you go back, they've been that lean for their whole lives. You know, some of them have lost the weight, but I would say it's definitely off. But it's always that for us too. You know, they're 6'5", they got a beard, they're 250, jacked, you know, and they're the dude being like, put the burgers down, bro. And it's like, it's nice when you see someone that's a normal person.
Relatable.
Yes, relatable.
Period.
And that's what you're able to do with this is you see the mom that's sitting next to you at the soccer game. So I said, I wish more dads would do cool pictures and step out and have that confidence because you don't see
what it could do for them, let alone.
Well, but the ones of us that do it, it's we're arrogant, we're cocky, we're this. Well, guess what? I sell confidence.
But it's the same thing with women.
So I have to be that way.
It's the same thing with women. Like if
a
woman posted a picture from her session, when they do, it's very rare, but when they do, it's a headshot and they will zoom all the way in because their hair and makeup look amazing.
Yeah.
I look, as far as social media is concerned, my first live video I ever did in a private group, by the way.
Yeah.
I had my phone, my laptop, I think I was using my laptop, set up, hit live, preparing, like do the little description of what's going to happen. And I sat there and stared at myself for at least a freaking half hour. Like deep breaths, like the whole bit. And I would text my sister and my sister's like, just pretend like you're talking to me. I'm like, okay, I can do that. Yeah. So I'm like, I got to do this. So I start doing it. The first time somebody comments, I am just like, ugh. Or you see like 200
like
people
sweats.
join this live and you're like, oh my God, like 200 people are watching me right now. Which is how I felt with the TikTok. Mm-hmm. She's the reason that I'm finally doing stuff on social media.
You are picking up at it, which good.
She is so much younger
I noticed
than me.
that. She has to strip down to get you to put stuff up because it's her photos.
Yeah. So she's just really good at going live. She's very confident in that realm of the business.
But I think it comes across as confident to you. I'm just as freaking out, but it's easier because I feel like I'm doing it for you.
Ooh, okay. There you go.
That's it.
Yeah.
I can see that.
So even... because we've talked about that a few times too, because you'll be like, oh, well, you're young and you don't have those things
but
yet.
She likes
but we
to
have the
remind
same
me,
things.
too.
Yeah.
We just
we're
send each
the
other
same
TikToks
age
about
spiritually.
about like what to do, like just different content ideas. We kind of just send them back and forth. And this girl has sent me like 5 in a row of like, I like my girls a little bit older, talking about me, and I'm like, oh, I'll kill ya. But it's just interesting. Like I feel like she's just better at it. And I didn't even
That's
know.
you just telling yourself that though. But
well,
see, that's it.
That last session we did a marketing session with us and our makeup artist, and she did our hair and makeup. And
that's the house, the one you guys just did.
No,
okay.
at the studio.
Yeah.
Okay.
So she had left, and we both looked at each other, and I was like, man, I wish my hair looked like yours. And she's like, really? I wish mine looked like yours.
We totally
and we both still do, even though this is what we deal with every day, we still do it to ourselves. So we get it when it comes from that side of things.
And I think even like going back to ChatGTP, I am like a rule follower. Like that's just my personality. I guess I'm a type A personality, I guess you would call it. I like things in order. I like to be prepared. Like you were like, hey, come on a podcast. I'm like, what? Like,
give us the questions.
Points. Like, tell me what's going to happen. So this is way out of my comfort zone, just so you know. I love you. But I use ChatGTP for, like, coming up with content ideas. But I utilize it, like, script it out for me. Like, tell me what...
Step by step
tell me
what
the
we
clips
need to do.
I need to do. I'll give it the idea. And I'm like, how can I make this happen? And it will literally, like... So I, like, at the house, I bought a 3-page document and passed it out to them. Like, they're like, what is wrong with you? But it just helps me feel more organized and in control, you know, because I also kind of forget a lot of things. So I over plan and I have good intentions, but when we actually go to do it, chaos ensues.
We get so focused on making sure we get the content to share that we're missing the behind the scenes or a stupid little video clip here to get it through.
So how do you like you put up more than she does, or you put up more of her than she does, however you guys work that? How do you get past that? 'Cause I think this is like a lot of things with confidence, like it's a just do the reps, like get the reps in. I know with me, like I post a lot of stuff and I very rarely get negative feedback. I think it's because most people know I tell them to F off like in a heartbeat. But I have had like friends of mine message me that've known me for years, and it's like, well, yeah, but you were really close with 20-year-old Matt, 43-year-old Matt's different.
Yeah.
Like you do get the shade, but I also have gotten a ton of messages, people saying, hey, that post was inspiring. My boss actually read it to us at work. I had that one day. I was like, well, that's pretty cool. So like, how do you get the confidence of putting stuff up? You know, this last shoot you guys did, you're in all white. You've posted that a bunch. Like as confident as I come off, I'm in a suit with her. I'm in a shirt. I'm hiding it. I got a cool car behind me. I'm like, oh, people are looking at the car. You're just there.
Yeah.
Like how do you, for women or for men that are listening to us, like I said, I really encourage dudes to do cool pictures too. You know, how do you get through that in your head and then sit there going,
she trusts me.
Damn. No, but knowing what's out there
though.
that, you know, somebody could be looking at right now being like judgy as all get out. Like, how do you do that?
So it took me doing the sessions for other people to see it, because at first, because I would be like, all right, you need a model, I guess I'll do it. Where now I'm like, oh, you need content, I guess I'll put on a piece of lingerie.
Yeah.
But I started doing bikini competitions in 2015 at Big St. Charles. And the first time I did it, I grew up very religious, and we were involved in church very much so. My brothers are both military, and my older brother, shout out to him, he called my dad and he's like, you let her do this? Like,
I remember
can you
doing those now that you say that.
Yeah.
I forgot all about that.
And my dad came to me because he hadn't said anything yet, and I've been the very outspoken child since high school. So he came to me, he's like, well, you know, this could be looked at pretty negatively and impact your business. And that's when I was doing more lingerie shoots by myself. And I was like, I cannot ask these women to come on here and put themselves out in a way that I wouldn't put myself out. Yeah. And that's kind of when I started working with Manda, that's how we started doing more content, because I said to her, like,
that's an amazing point, because I feel the same way.
Yeah, we can't.
How can I ask her to share if I'm not willing to share?
Yep.
My photos? So I get that.
Yep, and it was just that, well, it gives them, I'm helping them. It's not more about me. And even like we were saying with our kids finding the photos, because I hear that a lot, like, oh my gosh, we're country people. I'm boy mom. We have a fridge in our garage, just like most people do, that your drinks are in. So a lot of mine, I'll make magnets and I put them on the fridge. I have a 5-year-old and he calls it our butt fridge. And so, but it also was a little bit intimidating with that too, because one day he was like, Mom, that's you, but that's not you. And I was like, well, what do you mean, buddy?
Ouch.
And he's like, well, my mommy doesn't look like that though. And I'm like, well, what do you mean? He's like, you have makeup and your hair done, and this is what my mommy looks like, as I'm looking like Adam Sandler in my husband's clothes and my hair in a messy bun. And I'm like, you're right, buddy. But like that still
and
is
that is
mommy.
so interesting, because I had a boudoir photographer kind of judge me and be like, well, don't you want to photograph them the way they are? Why do you do like the glam, the full hair and makeup? And that's interesting to me, because I'm very honest and open about that. My husband has a thing for Jennifer Aniston, okay? To the point where one Christmas, he literally bought me Jennifer Aniston perfume.
All guys have a thing for Jennifer Aniston.
Yeah, so you can't not.
But what's interesting is she has full glam. She has like hair and makeup. She has her team, right? That's making her the best version of herself. So for me, when I did my first session, I looked at that. I had a huge photo like the size of this in my room of myself, which is crazy because that's not me. But I did that because I wanted to know that when I woke up looking like an Adam Sandler, my hair in a bun, you know, like wearing my joggers, t-shirt, I wanted to be able to look at that and say, but I could look like that if I wanted to, you know, and that's...
If I want to put the effort in, I can look like this, but this is me. This is
and my husband, the first time he opened my album, he looked at this picture, looked up at me, looked back at the picture, and was like, yeah, that's you. But it took him a minute, because I don't ever wear full hair and makeup, like mascara and maybe some lip
that's
gloss.
the weirdest part.
This is super dressed up for us.
Well, that's the weirdest part too for like with Casey's. It was the makeup and the hair was the part that I was like, oh, because she she's always been a ponytail and t-shirt.
Mm-hmm.
So that's a part more than the outfit and the body or any of that. No, I completely see
But that
that.
is
The
why
makeup,
this is so
yeah.
much more for her than you.
Yeah, for
Because
sure.
most men, if you ask them, like, what turns you on, it's the messy bun, the casual clothing. Like, men, I feel like men like to see their spouse or their partner comfortable, and that's sexy to them. So that's why this is so much more for her. Just knowing that you could look like that if you wanted to makes those moments when you're in a messy bun and joggers, you still are confident because you
Yes.
know you could look like that if you wanted
Yeah,
to.
that's still me, but
Yeah.
I look like this for right now, and this
Yeah.
is the spot we're in life.
Yep.
No, and that makes sense, and it's about being confident in your skin, and I think that's something that it's where I've really pushed with the school and working with the kids is teaching about confidence, and we've talked about that. Friends of mine have talked about people because we do leadership stuff. They're like, "Oh, you're arrogant, you're cocky." It's like, no, just as insecure as everyone else, but I've put the reps in, and I know what I'm doing benefits people because we are not taught in school to be confident, and there are so
In
many
your
people.
situation, I think it is more so, especially with social media with these young kids, right? Like they have parents that are insecure,
Yes.
maybe not confident themselves. Then you have social media, you have all these kids going back and forth. So your job is way harder than mine because I'm dealing with women that can actually, see and I can have conversations with. But kids, I'll give you an example. My mom always used to talk about like what size jeans I was in currently. And it was always a big deal.
Well, see, you're thinking teens though, so like kids are different because kids are easy because they're kids are fearless because it's not beaten into their head yet. Like, with a grown adult, they've had those insecurities, they've had those things over the years. Like you getting that person out of their shell, it's probably gonna take a lot more work. I could tell the kids, hey, you know what? We can do flying sidekicks off the building. I would have a line out the back door of kids being like,
Let's
get
go.
the ladder, let's go. You said we could do them, let's do it. Whereas you're going to have to coax a little more. Like I even have to if I told the kids, I want you to go to a tournament this weekend, you're going to fight 6 people. They'd be like, we got this.
Game on.
Whereas the parent would be like, well, the moon and the stars and this doesn't like I have to
Really?
really work the parents. Most of the parents are more scared because it's if my kid fails, well then I fail. Or if it's an insecurity, like I meet a lot of kids, parent will be like, well, they have this and this and this. And it's like, no, you do. You're transferring it to them. They don't really have those issues yet. You're putting it there. With an adult though, you've got so many kids don't make excuses. Hey guys, do your kick higher. My leg's tight, and I'll pull their leg up. Like, no, it's not. And they'll be like, oh, and we're good. Whereas an adult, you may have to take them through 20 steps to get that confidence.
Yeah.
But that's the thing, starting young and building it. But if more people, I know people are going to be like, oh my gosh, he has a martial arts academy, and you got Boudoir photographers on there. But if more people had that confidence,
I think that's probably the misleading thing, though, is like I think people assume that you come with that confidence.
Yes.
Like that person's built. We all feel, like you said, we all feel the same way. It's just keep putting yourself out there, and it appears to be confidence, and it's just keeping putting yourself
fake it till
out
you make
there.
it
Yeah.
kind of thing.
Yep.
I can see that.
yeah, you just got to put in the reps with it. It's like anything. You've got to do it to a point. You have to take the first step. Now, do you have to improve? Yes. Do you have to get better? Yes. And do you build confidence through it? Yeah. Like you couldn't have felt the same way. Well, I guess it's kind of, I don't know. I'm not in your shoes, so I can't say it. So like with your first, and I forgot about the bike night stuff. I remember that now. You did those. Your first bike night thing, you're up, you're in a bikini, but then the boudoir sessions, a lot of life has happened in between them, which like when you put that up there though, it probably never gets easier. You just learn to deal with it.
Yeah, I think you just cope with it in different ways. So like if someone said something to me right now,
Tell the story about what just happened, and as far as like the bike week stuff being shared. Do you remember that? So there was a video. She did a shoot for someone on the back of a bike.
Oh, for Daytona.
Tell it.
Yeah. Okay, so my family, I got my family like into motorcycles when I was probably 12. I rode my first motorcycle with a friend, and I was hooked right away. So my parents, I convinced them to get a motorcycle so that they would be cool with me having a motorcycle.
You had a bike, right? Yeah. You rode a bike. Like, yeah. Okay, yeah.
So we, me and my parents would go to Daytona Bike Week every year, and that was my week. Like, and being a photographer, like I made friends with all the photographers, and they knew. So it's been, well, since I was pregnant with Jake was the last one I went. So
Yeah,
it's been 6 years since I've been to a Daytona Bike Week. So 7 since I rode my bike. And they're still using some of my pictures to market. Mm-hmm. And so one came up and a friend seen it and showed it to me. And I was
Harley Davidson
yeah,
used it.
Harley Davidson featured it. And I coolest moment of my life. I was
that's badass. Yes, yeah.
Harley featured me. So we're watching it. And,
oh yeah, because Bike Week just happened. Didn't
yeah.
It? Yeah.
So, and fun fact, we're just finding out I have a lot of food allergies. So at that point in my life, I was heavier just because we didn't know what was going on with my body. And so we're going through the comments and started off real good, oh, she's a badass. And then it was like, oh my God, is she pregnant? Is she riding pregnant? Look at her. And it was a bad angle from the camera. The first shot was like, oh yeah, she's a badass. And the next one was like, oh, that's a
you were even like, oh.
Yeah, even I was like, okay, I see where you're coming from. That's not a great angle.
No, but it bothered her.
But it
bothered her.
I came in and I was like, listen, I thought I was doing really good. What is going on? And it affected her. It was just internet trolls. But thankfully, in that same trend, all these women were coming on and being like, screw you, you're 50-year-old man sitting at your mom's basement. How do you have any room to talk? So thankfully a lot of people did come to my defense, but here I am.
I think Boudoir has gotten popular enough that enough women have experienced it to understand
at some level,
and I think it's affecting it, the bigger picture. Mm-hmm. And I think it'll continue to do that. One of the things I like to say is I look at Becca again, I would kill to look like her. So why do we not tell that to someone when we're out and about? If we were getting coffee, I'd be like, oh, love your hair. You have the best butt. You know what I mean?
We've started doing that. Yeah.
Do it.
Aaron, my coach, we were at an event and we were talking about that, and him and I have discussed that. We've all kind of discussed why can't dudes give compliments? Every time Aaron gets alcohol, he's joking around, saying something, giving compliments. We give each other compliments and we'll joke back, but it's what's wrong with giving someone a compliment? But dudes are even worse. If you notice my shoots, maybe one guy comments, it's all women commenting.
They're jealous.
But it's the same thing though for women though. Women will be on there, oh, it's so pretty, but then they're probably talking shit. But if a guy goes on, I've seen stuff that's posted for females I know, I don't comment. I'll if I see them publicly, I'll tell them. A friend of mine does a lot of different ones, and I've told her, hey, that was great, loved it, but I didn't comment because I did want someone going under it call me a pervert or something for just trying to give a compliment. Yes, but you do.
But that's the importance of women doing it for other women. I think that's not done enough. I don't care if it's, oh my, I love your hair. I wish my hair looked like that. Or I love your dress. Oh my gosh, where'd you get that purse? Little things like that.
Change a whole week.
I do it all the time. My husband thinks I'm crazy. He gets embarrassed by me when we're out in public because I don't care if we're at Tractor Supply. I'm like, oh, love those jeans. What kind are they?
Yeah.
And immediately you will see her face light up.
Oh.
Yep. Because it's something they took pride in. They've noticed it for someone else.
Or they were insecure about it anyways, and you just complimented on something they were going out of their comfort zone.
So that conversation can stop right there. But I guarantee you she's going back to that truck with a little bit more.
Me and the students discussed that. Last year I did it a bad time of the year. I did it right cold and flu season, but I told all kids how to shake hands. We were discussing. It was so funny because we got right in the middle of it. I looked at parents. I'm like, I know, I picked a really crappy time of the year for this because we'd shake hands and we'd all go use hand sanitizer.
Yep.
But we were talking about how as you get natural at meeting someone, then you need to give a compliment. But I explained to them, it has to be real.
Yeah,
if
genuine.
you like their shoes, badass shoes. If you like their hair, great hair. Man, buddy of mine come up, shook my hand. I'm like, dang, bro. I was like, what are you doing? Oh yeah, we've been hitting the gym all the time. That's awesome, man. Good for you. Give a real compliment. If you don't have a compliment, cool. What mom always tell you? If you ain't got nothing nice to say, don't. Yeah, just shake their hand. Nice to meet you today. Yeah. But I explained to them as they get comfortable reaching out and shaking a hand, then it gives you time to observe. And make the compliment. Yep. Come up with something. What is it? Did they do this? Did they do that? Hey, is that new hair? I went to see my tattoo artist the other day, and I hadn't noticed it on social media till after I left, but I got there and I'm like, dang, your hair looks cool. And she had some new stuff on her hair. There's nothing wrong with giving that compliment. There's nothing. It doesn't have to be sexualized. It can just be friendly and being positive to someone. It's all interaction behind a screen. So we don't see that. I'm the same way. I'll see somebody or someone I get stopped a lot because I always wear wild shoes. Somebody will fist bump me going through the airport or something. And I try to do the same thing back. And I try to do it with the kids so they see that it's okay to have that conversation because it does. It builds that. but you got to stay out of the comments too. Like I go in and comment.
It's hard.
I can't imagine
my
something going
favorite-
viral because that shit blew up fast.
That was crazy.
And it was
that
in a
scary.
crazy time in our lives too. Like we were
Yes.
trying to go viral, trying to push ourselves.
But I had my mom
personally-
living with me in hospice.
Well,
there
and
was
you
just
weren't
so many
posting
things
much.
going
We
on.
had,
No.
I think we had recently talked around that time of you're like, fuck, I can't post anything. I've had client that was like, no.
Which is fine.
Which
Yep.
is good, but you were like, I need something to post. And then you guys did your rain room. We had talked about that. And that just went off, which was awesome.
And it was
think
like,
it's
it's always
different.
like videos that you don't expect to do
Never
well.
expected
Yeah.
it. When I
Like, you're
posted that,
dancing
I
one
went
with the
away
rain
and I was
room.
just like,
Yeah.
didn't think nothing of it. I open it up, 99 plus, notifications. I'm like, what the hell? So I open it and I'm like, oh my God, Becca, you're gonna have to help me because again,
Yeah.
it was a real client of ours. So I wanted to watch those comments like a hawk. I was pleasantly surprised
Yeah.
with TikTok and the response that was given, and it actually opened my eyes a little bit more to I'm such a perfectionist that sometimes may not be interpreted as relatable because I'm
Yes.
such a perfectionist. You know what I mean? Just like Casey being like, oh, thanks for making me look skinny. I'm like, I didn't do that. Like,
Yeah.
that was all you. That was our pose. That was our lighting. But that is you. That is really you. It's a big deal for me during a shoot to turn my camera around and be like, look, like unedited, this is you.
Yeah.
Those are my favorite parts.
That's the game changer in every session. So we'll come in and we have like our 5 basic poses that we run through, and we do like a tester outfit.
Practice.
And it'll practice outfit. And so they'll get in the first pose and it's different too because family photography, you're kind of shooting a lot, hoping kids' eyes are open
Yeah.
and they're smiling. With this, it's really taking your time and nailing the shot, which
Which
I had a
she
hard
did
time
that
evolving.
initially.
Yes.
The first session she did by herself, like,
Well, and
I
you
kept
can, I've been
talking.
photographed before where the person was uncomfortable, like getting the shot, was trying to get the perfect shot, and you're like, fuck, like it wears you out. So I get what you're coming from that.
Yeah, and
I
she
call
was
her,
like
shooting spray.
she's like
or
fucking 5,000 images. She's like, you took more in a mini session than I do a regular session. But coming from that side of family and kids that you're trying to make sure you have something to use, where this is really taking your time and setting it up, and then you turn around and show them that nailed
Yeah.
shot, and then they're like, okay, fuck yeah, let's go.
Let's do
And
it.
they're
Yeah,
ready to
boosts
go
their
the rest of the
confidence.
session.
I don't have to pep talk them anymore after that usually.
Yeah.
Like, they got it. Like, they're on to the next outfit. Let's go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I get that completely because then they're comfortable with it and they're
trust you. Like, okay, I see.
They
that's
see
where
there's
you're
no
going.
voodoo. They see
Yes.
that you're not taking a bunch of really bad images and that they're got to fret over it.
It is a big
And that's
deal.
unedited still too, so it's not even going in and changing those final touches
When
where
I
they're
d-
like, shit, I look
when
that
I
good
did
already.
my first session of myself, I wanted to see what it was like to be one of my clients. So I went to someone. There was a lot of things that I learned from that. She was an amazing photographer, but I didn't get a sneak peek. I never saw the back of the camera.
Ooh.
I left that session thinking, "Ugh, there's no way.
There's no way she got
useful."
anything.
Oh, I bet
Nothing,
she didn't
you
show
know?
me them because they look so
Yeah,
bad.
Yeah.
And
yeah,
so
I could see you putting that
I
out there.
literally
Yeah.
spent 2 weeks like, dreading almost seeing the images. That was one huge thing that immediately impacted my business. Where no, they're gonna see, and
right away.
every
yeah.
time I do a session within 24 hours, sometimes 48 if my life is crazy, I send them a fully edited shot.
Yeah.
That's
At least
theirs.
one.
Like,
Yep.
this is you, so that they know and they're confident and they're excited to
They
see
can
the
take a
other
breath.
ones.
Yeah.
Yeah. Did she show you the baby AI versions of the pictures I made? Oh, I was fucking around. So I had Casey drive an hour to a tournament the other day because I figured out how to do the baby AI stuff.
Oh my goodness.
And I was like, no, you're driving. We got out a traffic light. I was like, no, you're driving. And I did. I took, this is one of them in front of the 58.
oh my god.
I can literally see Casey rolling her eyes right now.
Oh, yeah.
Showing her.
I did that. I
That
did.
the last one though, like totally does
Oh, yeah.
look like you.
With
like,
the hands
Yes,
and everything.
that's
Yeah.
like
That one was the one I got later when I got a little better at prompting it.
Yeah.
And then we made a mini because I was trying to figure out, and it's already, the craze is, it's too big now. I'm not going to mess with it. But I was trying to find out which app I could put a podcast reel in to where it
Yeah.
would do the baby podcast. And you there were some how-tos
those
on
are
it, but it
so
was
funny,
above
yeah.
me. But I was playing with it. But I was sitting these two where I'm like, I'm having so much fun with this. I was playing with it just because I'm trying to learn more about using it for productivity.
Yeah.
At the school, just to create different things. Just I
Trying
don't
to be
want.
relatable. Like,
Well,
we
I
have
don't
to
want to
keep-
go viral because I'm locally in Troy. I'm not trying to do anything across the U.S. I just want stuff that I just want to have fun. I just don't want to
Yeah.
post the same shit to get bored with it. Yeah, those I was having a hoot with those.
I think going viral is overrated too. Like, I don't think that should be the point of you posting. I've always been really grounded about that. Like, I didn't intend to go viral.
Yeah.
Like, it just happened.
Well, like you said, we don't want to travel for it because
Yeah.
that was the first thing when we went viral. Well,
Where
where
are
do you come
you?
to this state?
Yeah.
You're too far away.
Yes.
And like, are you guys gonna travel?
Yeah.
We're doing good to keep our heads above water
Yeah.
in our own lives, let alone
really are.
trying to add that in. So yeah, going viral.
I want to
helped
reach people
boost our views
where I
but,
am.
Yeah.
It's different for me because I live in Lincoln County, but my studio is in O'Fallon. So I'm trying to. That's the whole point of this whole Heritage mini, Heritage on Broadway. It's in Ellisbury. That was me trying to kind of come back and embrace the Troy, like what kind of got me started in this, because my first studio was in Troy. So that's why I want to kind of find places like that. Plus I like challenging myself, and I'm so bored with the same sets. I have to remind myself a lot of times that my client isn't bored. Like, this is her first experience, so she doesn't
That's
care. But
really hard to do with
It's
martial
hard.
arts. With what I do, it's very repetitive. All week, I'll basically do the same class because not everybody's always there. And I realize that they got it for 40 minutes. You know, and I explain that to my instructors. We're working on like a whole catch and pitch scenario where I teach a section, they teach a section, like, and we switch the sections up each class so that by the end of the week, because like I've done,
just
I've done 2
burnt out,
elementary
yeah.
schools this week, which was it's about 1,400 kids plus the dojo every night. Like yesterday, I taught 12, basically the same, not the same class, but to me it felt the same.
Yeah.
But do you consider yourself an artist? Like,
I consider
in what you
myself
do?
creative.
Yeah.
I don't consider. I wouldn't say an
And when you're a
artist.
creative, and when you're doing what you do for a living, you have to keep challenging yourself. You
Yes.
have to
Oh,
keep
yes,
pushing
for
Or
sure.
you'll be done so
Well,
fast.
but
yeah.
you also have to, like, so that's one of the things, like with working with Aaron, the way I built out the school now, we're so much alike, it helps because like the way we deconstructed a black belt, I can every belt graduation, I can completely change everything that we're doing because, okay, now we're focused on this. And it's kept it insightful for everybody. There's just some weeks that I'm like, whew, wow. Like this week has been a challenging week with some of the stuff we've been doing. And I've been doing a lot of like notes before class with the leadership and the instructors. Hey, watch me do this. So I've done most of the classes. But it does get very repetitive. I could see that with your shoot. Like, it's their first time, it's their first thing, but you've said, hey, hips here,
Yeah.
That was the thing that when she's like
posing too,
doing
like-
the photos of me, she's like, it'd be so much easier if you were a girl and your panties on a couch. But
do that.
we're in a field with a car, which all my buddies said that's amazing fishing in that pond too. Because when I tell people like where it was, they're like, you're kidding me. I'm like, no, just right off the
love
road
it.
there in Winfield. I was like, trust me, people driving by
Winfield
like,
has
hey.
the best views.
But
Like,
even that, we were kind of racking our brains on where to do your session
Yeah.
too.
yeah.
Well, it's hard to do, and it's hard for what I was wanting.
Your branding session was unique because I wanted to start off like during the day of the casual mat.
Yeah.
But then I wanted to get into like what you do and like your, brand it like a professional that kind of like a guy in control. There was this idea that I had, but again, I overscheduled and I was trying to fit it all in on one day,
Oh,
which
it's all good.
we did.
We had a blast. I had a
great
blast
job.
with it.
We did amazing. Like, I think you had like almost 300 pictures.
Yeah,
Which is
288
crazy.
of last night's what you sent me edited. I was like, damn. I was like, you're
insane.
fine. Well, and that's like the other day you text me, you're like, I'll be done soon. I'm like, you're good. I get it. That's a lot. Like, we're good.
It was a lot.
I'm not stressing you. I just, I was excited because I was waiting to see more with the red. I knew because you had showed me so many of them. You're like, we got this one. That it was.
See, I even do it with you.
You do,
Like, I do
yeah,
that with
no.
everybody. You have to
dude,
know.
did
that
you-
you
I
should
would
do
lose
it
my
or
mind
did
if you
good.
did.
Did she do her happy dance?
The happy dance? I don't know.
I
You
don't
probably did. I
Like,
tell you to do it.
that's
but
what
the
we-
That
camera's
is
not gonna
genuine
pick it up.
too. Like, that's not scripted. That is something like
Yeah.
as soon as I nail that shot and I'm like, yes, I get to show this to her. Like, it does something to you
Yeah.
that like I do.
Yeah.
Well, and after the session, even everybody's like, we just want to hang out with you guys. And we're like,
You don't even know how many times I've sat there and talked to women in like just their lingerie about like teenage football games or
Yeah.
like what you have going on as a mom, like struggling with right now. It's almost like therapy. It really is. Like I know, chances are I know what your wife is annoyed about.
Yeah.
If you come to me
Yeah.
about you. But they know the same about me. Like I open up just as much. And I think that's part of like the trust issue. Like initially
real,
they get
yeah.
there, they don't know me. I have a camera in their face and I tell them like, look, this is going to happen this way, but hear me out. I'm going to show you that you're getting it. This is a practice outfit. No pressure. Like you can love these. You may not love these, but you're going to see the progression from this first outfit to your third outfit. You're going to see that confidence. And that's what I want for
and
them.
it's a completely different person, first outfit. to
Oh,
last
for sure.
outfit.
I could see that. Well, but see, that's always been my thing with the martial arts too. Is I was always stuck in this fork in the road, and this is what's been so cool with Rise working with Aaron, is he was able to show me how to have both. I'm like, we talked the whole time on personal. I teach like that. I can run a whole entire class and educate the parents on what we're doing at the same time. I like to know the kids. I like to learn about everybody. I like that. Well, when we blew up to 260 students at one point, I couldn't tell
It's a lot
you
harder. Yeah.
80 or 90%. I couldn't even tell you a lot of the kids' names that were in class, because once you put them all in a matching
and
uniform,
you feel disingenuine.
I did. I
Same
felt
way.
like a fraud. It drove me nuts. Most of the people didn't stay. I couldn't tell you anything about the parents. I would run into them. They're like, "Oh, we go to your school." I'm like, "No shit." I taught most of my leadership taught a lot, but I was always there because I was trying to train them up. I thought it would look better having them teach and getting them ready that way if I wasn't there. The whole thing, but I hated it. Well, with the way we've restructured now, I'm able to do both. I'm able to have the big school and all the classes because that accommodates schedules.
Yep.
And we're allowed to have a bunch of students, but because of the different things we put in place, I know everybody. This last month, I had my manager meet with a few people that were upgrading, and I was like, nope, I'm going to have to do those because that was my chance to really talk to them about how the kids are doing the program, who they are, because now they've been there for a couple months. Now, Aaron always says, people don't care what you know till they know what you care. Or how they don't care how much you know until they know how much you care.
Yeah.
That's
Well,
true.
after they've been there for a couple months, they know how much I care. So then all of a sudden it's, oh yeah, we found you through this, or this popped up, or well, hey, we're having. All of a sudden now I get the full book.
You're in the loop. Yeah.
Now I know more about them. Now I bond. Now there's that connection there, and that's always been a struggle. And that's something you're so good about. Like I would.
But it was not easy initially
No.
because I was the same way. Like I wanted to be. This is why
Having
I finally
me,
let
yeah.
her in, because doing it by myself and having that therapy session almost, it is something that because I was trying to be so genuine and really getting to know them, I felt connected to them.
Yeah.
So then I'm getting invited to birthday parties, and
Yes.
you know what I'm saying, and that I never wanted that to feel disingenuine, but I couldn't keep up. Mentally, I was overloaded. I couldn't keep up.
Yeah.
So, bringing her in for like the mini sessions on and doing them, I still feel connected because I'm doing the editing. I'm talking to them, I'm doing the editing, and I'm following up with them at the very end, you know? So, I still have that connection with them, but I didn't meet them in person.
Yeah.
Which I ended up doing on a couple clients. Like she does weddings, so a lot of her brides will come in and do like little mini sessions. I just helped her shoot a wedding of one of her clients. So
That's awesome.
It just works out. Like it was very challenging at first because I'm again the type of person that I'm 100%.
Yeah.
You want me to do something, and if I commit to it, I'm doing it 100%. If I think I can't, I'm all or nothing.
Yeah,
Like,
that was
nothing
my
for
big
me.
struggle too in business. Was I was trying to do it all, but then when I started scaling and growing, I got a little too into it before I was ready because I scaled out the painting company so
Oh,
fast.
and it'll burn you out.
Well, and I just realized that I was only building the painting company for money. I wasn't doing it because I felt good painting people's houses. I teach
Yeah.
martial arts because I feel good helping kids. And I love doing that. And it took, because a lot of people are like, oh, business failing. No, it's not. I actually have like 27 people we have not called back for bids because I'm not trying to grow intentionally, because I just want to do the martial arts because that's what fills my cup. Well,
Yeah.
I'm 43. I've realized that now. So like one of my goals is to help others realize that at a younger age, because it's like, wow, what could I have done? I opened the school at 28. If I would have known then and had a mentor to teach me the tools like what Aaron's taught me now,
You two are
Then-
kind of like me and her.
Yeah.
I can
yes,
see that with you
I
and
would
Aaron.
have just Well, like he has said, he goes, you'd be the same place I am. You'd have had 20 schools and made millions of dollars.
It's very lonely just doing it by yourself. It's just, you don't feel like anybody understands.
Especially being creative, it's so different because you're like, is this a good idea? What if I did it this way?
You've got to have that group.
And you got to have those.
You
got to have someone there that talks your language to be able to figure it out.
And even keeping you motivated. Like, there's life happens, right? Like, there's so many distractions in everyday life for a business owner that you have to stay on top of things. And I feel like I'm really good motivator on, like, what do we do next? Blah, blah, blah. But follow through, because I'm, I guess, a perfectionist, I don't plan it out perfectly, so I will put that on the back burner.
You talk yourself out of stuff, too.
Yeah.
That's what I knew was perfect, because I had the date scheduled for today to do a podcast. I hadn't booked anyone because we did a bunch of shoots of all the kids at the school. We did all these kid podcasts.
I just saw those,
and we were booked out. Well, now we're catching back up, and I'm like, okay, I got to start messaging people, but I don't just say, hey, come on the podcast. Like, I put up a post like that and I actually deleted it because I was like, no, I hate that, because I always end up with people I don't want.
Yeah.
Because now, with that being said, friends have tagged friends of theirs, and now I'm actually really good. Like my buddy Tommy, I'm gonna reach out to him about doing another episode. He was tagged by somebody. I actually blew it off for a little bit because he's not from Troy. And then when he did come on, I'm like, wow, and we ended up going hiking together. Like, we hit it off. But so I hadn't done anything, and as you had texted me, and I'm like, there's not enough time for her to talk herself out of it. I knew if I gave you, like, hey, let's pick a date in a month. I was like, if I bully you into this tonight, I'll get you on here tomorrow.
That's the only reason I'm here.
We had 3 phone calls yesterday, and she's like, I'll call you back when I decide. And then we talk a little bit more, and I'm like, you just I'll do whatever you want to do, but you just tell me and I'll call you later.
Well, she said something about her babysitter. I'm like, perfect out, right? Like,
yeah.
I was like, no, we can do it anytime you want.
And then she's like, I'm like, would 11 work? And I was praying kind of deep down inside that you're like, oh man, I got to do it at 10. And when you're like, yep, 11's good, immediately you respond.
No, I said it's booked. I didn't say 11's good. I said it's booked. What email address?
I'm like, man.
I went home, told Casey, I was like, I got Amanda on the podcast. She's like,
she couldn't believe it.
She's like, really? I was like, we'll see if she shows.
Yeah,
I was like, she goes, what voodoo did you work? I said, I told her, bring Becca. This will be perfect, because then it hit me. I was like, an emotional, like, having someone here, and it'd be a great time to sit down for all of us to talk. I was like, this would be cool, because with us knowing each other from, I mean, I couldn't believe till I thought about it. It's been that many years.
Yeah.
It really had.
Well, and even then, I was
How did we get connected? Do you remember?
I think it was through Facebook. And
it was somebody at the dojo.
Probably.
Knew you.
And you asked me, and I was like, oh, I've never done pictures like this. And I try to be very upfront when I haven't done that. And when I came, I was like, I know. Because when Amanda started working with you guys, I was like, oh, yeah, I did pictures for them a long time ago. But, like, I totally was not the right fit for that.
all the time, because Casey...
It was really hard to find someone. I almost got my own camera and started doing it myself, because it was hard to find someone that understood martial arts.
Yeah, because it is a
understood
whole different...
kids, understood how to do the photo. That's what's so great now. The company we've been with, actually, David was messaging me this morning. We've been with David for like 8 years now. He's a martial artist. He's great with kids.
Yeah,
and the kids love him. I love him. It's just, it
but
just
he specializes
perfect.
in that.
Yes.
And that was what we needed.
That's my point.
Because I had been through, after you, my buddy Steve come in. Steve did great, but it still wasn't
exactly right.
Needed.
Yeah.
Like, you can half-ass
But you got to
anything.
find your thing.
If you have a camera and you know photography, the basics of photography, you can half-ass whatever you wanted it to.
And every photographer out there, just like every martial artist will always tell you they could teach you everything. It's like, no, you can't. Like, I have people all the time like, you teach grappling? It's like, I've done grappling. I'm not going to teach you. I don't know enough.
Yeah.
Weapons. One of my students the other day was like, what about this weapon? I said, I don't know how to use it, but we can work on it together, but I'm not going to claim to be a specialist, but I'll help you, because I know enough about martial arts, we can figure it out. It wasn't the right fit, because that wasn't where you were going. It was, and your pictures were good. I still remember pictures; they were good, and the people really liked you. The kids loved you. But I didn't
know the martial arts side to make it right. Yeah,
that was the thing, though. When we would have a photographer, and I would spend so much time with them.
Yeah. Because I remember even shooting, I'd be like, is this what you're looking for?
Yeah,
no, we need to change this. Okay, let's do it.
And
but if I would have known that, it would have been easier on you to do that.
That's what works.
Yeah.
David actually made this really wild looking mat. It has like 2 dragons. It has some other things. And he's like, put your feet on the ninja stars. He's like, perfect front stance. Put your feet on the sword or on the dragons. 45 to the long stance. I'm like,
Genius.
I was like that, and it just looks
It's
like
impressive.
this dope ass mat that sits there with his logo. And I was like, you're a freaking genius, because he goes, because we've always talked about if we had somewhere for their feet, and this is just because he mainly does kids. It's just about perfect. I was like, that is a cool thing. So it works great.
Yeah.
He was on a couple weeks ago. He jumped on. We did a virtual one. But it's finding your path. So many people, I can do that. Yeah, I can do that. Like, I'll find people that'll, I could write you a meal plan. Are you a nutritionist? Yeah. I got some certs back in the day. No. Is this like what you do?
Yeah.
Well, no, they're actually good at this, or they're actually good at that. And I fell for that a lot in the early years of entrepreneurship, because everybody wants to help you.
Well, and it's hard as a business because there is a point where you're like, I need some freaking money.
Yeah, no,
I will-
you do.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I'll
I can,
take that on, and I'll be honest with you, where I don't, where I might not be good at that, but I'll do what I can.
And I had to learn that with the painting, be like,
Yep.
no. And I'll tell people, be like, I personally have experience doing that, but I know that my crew does not, so we're going to have to pass. I just had someone call about something the other day. I'm like, nope, don't want to mess with it.
But I think when you start investing in yourself, in that expert area, then you understand that you have to turn some stuff down. I don't think you
and
do
it's again a
understand
confidence
that
thing
until,
that you know you can
And
turn
even
down.
working with you with doing the bikini competitions and being a photographer, I'll go shoot with this person and see how they work. And I had never had a session like Manda's till I worked with her, and it was just a different experience in the details of it. And that's why I was like, no, I want to work with you if I'm going to do it.
Because she begged me. She used to beg me. I'm like, girl, I just can't. I couldn't let it go.
She would
Well, that's a
change the
confidence thing in
subject so we
yourself,
did.
too.
Yeah.
It's a confidence thing. Well, when
It's a
I
trust
reached out to
thing.
you about the headshots, I wanted some headshots. I wanted them to be fire. I wanted different. I did not want to stand in front of the same wall doing the same thing. I wanted me to come through, and that's why I messaged you. I'm like, hey, you interested maybe doing headshots of a guy?
And
well,
to
you
be
even
honest,
came
I
out and
had
did the
done
company
families.
ones for me.
Yeah, I had
You've done our family
families. I've done
photos.
weddings. I started off doing families, and then I had this passion for weddings. I loved the love. I loved the connection. I loved the emotion. Again, it meant something to me. And the better I got at photography, the higher end weddings I was getting. And that kind of, I felt more like this, it was like a competition of what the reception looked like. It was more like I like to say like a keeping up with the Joneses.
You know,
like
became
that connection.
you became an
wasn't there.
employee then too. There's like
Yes.
a mid-level we like to be where you're still genuine and you're still a part of their friendship and their story. But when you get
your
on some of
product.
those higher ends, you're just a worker here.
Well, and we would get that with the painting company too,
Yeah.
where a general contractor would hire us, and now I have a boss, and it was like, no, that's not how I'm not rolling like that. I've been doing this. I do it. I get it. I do it.
I did newborn photography at a hospital one time, and when I say I was emotional and I cried when that baby was born, I did. It was a very emotional thing for me, but I had older kids. I was in a different part of my life, so that it didn't connect with me, and I knew that right away. So when Boudoir happened, when that whole thing happened and I trained and I came back to it, I literally fell in love with it all over again. I resonated so much with how these women were. That was my niche, and I wanted to do only that. So when her and I started working together, I did her wedding. So it was still when I was doing weddings. We just were a good fit. I don't know how else to explain it besides I get her, she gets me.
Yeah.
We keep each other motivated, but I still want her to do what she's passionate about, which is the children, you know? But I feel like she's I feel like you have the same passion for Boudoir that I do, but you didn't when I first met you. It was just another type of session. You're like, oh, I could do this. But I'm like, no, you don't understand. You don't understand. Like, I'm so protective of my clients.
Yeah.
This will make or break somebody's confidence. I will never let you in front of the camera until you fully understand that, the weight of that responsibility, because you have to. I think with me struggling with my weight so much growing up too, I resonate with that. I understand that. I could see my client.
Yeah.
I know where her eyes are going. I know what's flattering, what she wants from herself based on our conversations and based on my experiences. And I would never give her an unflattering photo. But there's so many people that can't resonate with that look at it and they're looking at the photo quality. They're looking at, did they hit focus?
Everything else.
Is the lighting okay? Blah, blah, blah. But they're not putting themselves in her position.
Yeah.
And saying, if I see this photo, am I going to love it? Am I going to feel confident?
Or am I going to
Or
hate
am I going to go,
myself?
oh my God.
Yeah.
I did not realize my love handles were that big. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like it's important. It was important to me.
Well, if somebody wanted to book with you guys and do a shoot, what is the best way? Because I know a lot of people are going to listen to this and hear it and be like, wow, that is not. And hopefully a lot of guys will listen to it too and be like, that's not, okay, my wife's not going in to, be put in a BDSM outfit and spanked or something stupid. It's a very sensual thing that builds confidence. What is a way, how is the best way for them to contact you guys?
Probably the website. I'm kind of working on the website. I put the website on the back burner for a long time. Majority of my clients come from Google, believe it or not. So I just left it the way that it was. So I'm really, right now we're updating portfolio pages and all of that stuff. But the website's the easiest place to book. Facebook.
And you can see all your options on there too. So we have a variety, like we said, we have the mini sessions and the full, and then we have different sets like the shower and that. But the website will really let you see all of it and kind of see your options. And I think it's important to talk about, I'm sure with your business too, you can always find someone way cheaper or way more expensive. But when you really look at the whole experience, I think that's really important
like I'm very
with these.
middle of the ground. I mean, there's a lot of boudoir photographers out there that are very expensive.
Yeah.
And I don't look at it as like, is this what I'm worth? I'm a business. We ran an electric company for many years, and I've always done the book side of it, the administration side. So I know my cost of doing business. I know what it takes to continue running my business and be profitable. So that's just where I kind of stand, because I love doing it too.
Well, and it's what the experience is worth too. There's a lot of people throw a high dollar price tag on it. Anybody can do that. It's just typing numbers into their website. It's what's the experience you're getting. We do that a lot with the martial arts. Are you coming into a clean school? Is people friendly? Is there a good product? Are they getting quality uniforms and quality weapons and quality gear and quality instruction in a safe environment? Well, what's that worth? Well, the guy down the street's only this much. Yeah, well, you're not getting that down there.
Yeah.
There are people, like, I don't look at anything based on a price tag anymore. I've been burned too many times with a good deal, a cheap deal. I've learned what I want to look for. So I don't look at anything that way. I'm like, what am I getting? It's this much. Okay, that rationally makes sense to me. I'm getting that experience.
I'm also such a bad salesperson. Let me tell you how bad I am. I suggest everyone start at the very lowest option. Just get 10 pictures. Give me a chance. Let me show you. And then if you want to upgrade, I'm not going to charge you anything else besides the difference in the package. That goes over really well with me.
Well, there's nothing wrong with that. It's the way your packages are set up, and that's how our program is. When people come into the Taekwondo school, they're not pitched on a high dollar anything. It's a 3-month trial to get to know us.
Yeah.
And it's at a discounted price, but they don't get everything everyone else gets. But it's a chance for them to get to know, see the classes, and see if they want to commit to it. Because you can't pitch somebody something you're not confident about, and you can't expect someone to walk in the door and not know
and be fully on board without
and just be fully on board without you're not going to put that through if you're not going to do that in a trial class or one little photograph. Like they need a few to see it and build that confidence, and then they come back over and over and over again.
And that's why I like working with people who aren't confident. Believe it or not, like those are my people, because you come in and you're confident, it doesn't matter what I do. You just want pretty pictures and make sure my quality.
Content like that about confidence. And then boom, and you need some, because I think that would really resonate with women and men.
I think what's cool about this is that they may come in like, I'm not sure I wanted to book that, but almost everyone books a second shoot because they love the way that it makes them feel. Because
it's fun. They're like, I wish I knew how easy this was. Because it's very intimidating.
Well, but it's also not something everybody will just talk about.
Yeah.
All of us we're comfortable talking about it or whatever, but a lot of people won't talk about it. A lot of people, when I've mentioned that, Casey did the boudoir stuff, I've watched people like, what? Like, you let your wife do that? Like different, like the only time I ever told her I didn't want her putting nothing out is while she was chamber president. I was like, you're very well around Troy right now.
And
there's all this little drama.
Aware,
like, don't put it out.
There is so many different jobs that you have that you're contracted that you cannot. So I've had several clients who are like, oh, I don't mind sharing. And like, what do you do? I'm a nurse. Can't do it. Or I'm a teacher. Can't do it.
Yep. Nope. Gotta watch it.
I will protect them in that aspect, even if they're not fully aware of it, because I've seen it happen. People who work at banks, they don't know that they can't do that.
Yeah,
They'll be
no,
fired.
you've got to be careful with
Yeah.
it. So no, I completely get that. But man, it was a pleasure having you on. And hold on, I gotta look at this. That's an hour and 40 minutes.
Oh wow.
Hour 40 minutes
No way.
because you were like, oh, I don't know if I can do a podcast with cameras. Oh, so
Fine.
hour and 40. So thank you guys so much for coming on. Again, it exactly like I said it would be. It'd be a great chat. It's my favorite part about this. People are
I
like, oh
love
my god, I'm
this.
just gonna completely botch it. I'm like, no, it'll be great.
I mean, your guys'
I honestly
the
didn't
editing on the videos is so good. It is
It
a
is.
little intimidating.
Because
I
like
think.
you, when we started talking, there was a moment that I was like, "Oh, we're already doing this."
I was waiting
Yeah.
to see.
Oh, shit.
Well,
There was that
and I
moment.
was up until like 2 weeks ago. I would shoot a little intro, and I've been really listening to a lot of other content lately.
Yeah,
And
it's better that you don't.
most of them don't.
No.
Well, I would always let the person kind of introduce themselves because most people are
Yeah.
like, I don't know what to say. But I started paying attention that a few of them I really like. They just
Slowly get
into the pod,
it,
and I was
yeah.
like, I'm gonna just start doing that because so many times the conversation will get going and I'll stop
That
it.
helped me, believe
And
it or
it's
not.
not
because-
awkward,
yeah.
but I realize that we list it, I tag them and stuff. It's not necessary. And we have a little musical intro and different stuff that we could just go right into it. And normally
I
the
need to talk to
conversations
him.
just start up.
about because even this sort of thing would be really interesting, like me and you kind of just going back and forth and talking about different issues because there's so many of them. We touched on a lot today, but there's so many.
So many.
You two just sitting down, you two could just sit down and knock so much stuff out. You guys could make some of the greatest, most connected content.
We sit down and do it. We're
Well, I'm just saying, if
Yeah.
you guys just had
Yeah.
a table, just sit down at your
Yeah.
kitchen table and record something with just a camera, you two talking, or even if you did something like this, the two of you just came in and sat down across from each other and just had your conversations. Originally, I wanted to kind of do that with me and Casey and talk to business owners and do it like a husband-wife thing, and she was not. She does not want to do it. And because I told her, I was like, I think a lot of people resonate with just a lot of our conversations we have.
yeah.
And I just for the record, like that is Casey. Casey is the most motivating person you will ever meet in your life. She will not let you give up. When you try to give up numerous times, Casey will bug you. She will come back. She's amazing.
Yeah, no, I think something like that would really just you two talking about because I've thought of it. There's a lot of martial artists that do that. There's a lot of coaches now that are doing that where they got our friends that's coaches. They'll just sit down and talk and hash things out. And I find those to be really cool where you're not always looking for a guest. We've toyed with
Yeah.
that up here. And at some point when I hire on like an adult instructor, I would love to do stuff like that where we just recap our week and talk.
Yeah.
Make great content and it would be super relatable.
Challenges that
Just
you're
you
facing
two
that
talking
week,
about
or
it, yeah.
Yep.
But that's it. That's it. You did
Yay.
it.